Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the summary for the day of 1385 for the 9th of December. So the Russian Defense Ministry has announced that there is a Sukhoi 27, the Ukrainian Sukhoi 27 that got shot down by the Russian Air Force. So it might be an air-to-air kill. And my suspicion, it might be a Sukhoi 57 that is shooting down the Sukhoi 27. That's just my feeling, because the Sukhoi 57 is already operational. But because they are so top secret, I think very little is being talked about, except that they had already deployed in the Ukraine war before. Anyway, whatever it is, it doesn't matter because we'll never know. We'll never know until the Russian Defense Ministry want to talk about it. So over in the Kherson front, we have shelling reported over in Mykolaiv. There is fighting reported towards the Antonovsky Bridge, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, as usual. But that's about it. We don't have any other news. This is very routine. So that's all. Over in the Zaporizhia front, over at the Orikhiv and the Kayamsky sector. So let me see how I adjust. So Russian forces are attacking as Stepove as well as Lukyanivsky. Again, we have no more reports about fighting at Stenokhursk, Plavny region, Primorsky region. No more reports about that, which means that the what I have been saying, that the Russian main push along the Dnipro River, this is no longer happening. There's no more this kind of operation around here, which is very interesting. So that's what it is. Fighting is reported at Novoandrievka, and also, so let me adjust, and also at Bilokhia. So that is the main operations around here. It's important to note the Russian Defense Ministry did announce the capture of Novodanilivka previously. So maybe this is Orikhiv is becoming a prime target for the Russians, as they may be doing this kind of thing around here. But tentatively, it's hard to say. It doesn't feel like a big operation just yet, but we'll continue to monitor the situation. Stepove is a static line. A push towards Lukyanivsky is not impossible if the Russians have Stepnokhursk already. So I mean, this is all possible. Anyway, if I'm not sure if the mic actually captures it. If it feels noisy in the background, it's because family friends is over. So a lot of kids, so a lot of noise. So yeah, so if you hear it, yeah, just imagine that I'm actually in the battlefield, and then those are all just sounds of shelling and FPV drone strike and machine guns. So it's perfectly fine. It's okay. So over in the Huaypole sector, this Huaypole, so Russian forces have been geolocated in the northeastern entrance, confirming their attack from the Zaporizhia direction. Fighting is reported in Huaypole. Vavarivka is also mentioned, Dopropilia, Kosiseve. It could be shelling. Most likely, it's probably shelling. And fighting is reported at Rybny and Privilny. So not sure what I did. My computer was like crying just now. So the main situation, of course, is still the battle for Huaypole. Russian forces most likely attack from the Zaporizhia direction, so that is expected. The Ukrainian side most probably still have positions in Privilny, Rybny areas, which is probably we cannot tell. The Ukrainians also have the Propilia. I think Kozyseve might be a Ukrainian forward operating base, which is where they actually send forces into this region here, which is also probably why they are under Russian shelling. I mean, that is a possibility. Fighting for Vavarivka, it would be sensible. This is the flanking operation to cut off the northern route. Of course, they want the Propilia, and also the operations by the Russians make sense. However, the Russian forward operating positions over here might be a bit far. It's over at Rivnopilia, so it's a bit of a difficulty. But let's see how this goes. So that's all from the Huaypole sector. Moving further up north, we go to the Dnipro Front. At the Dnipro Front, I think we're going to... should we zoom in a bit? Yeah, so... no, I think we should keep it in this direction. So, to understand the front line here, first, based on the new methodology that we have introduced 2 days ago, we first need to identify where are the forward operating bases. Where is the HQ? Where is the troops, mainly gathered and launch attacks from? The Ukrainians have quite a number of places around here. So Ukrainians have Veliko-Mikhailivka as a HQ. Porovsky and Alexandriivka is definitely. They have the forest around Lisny, and they I think this is the few main ones for now that I can tell. And Russian forces overrun the position at this place called Ostapivsky or Ostapovskoye. So Russian forces overrun the position. A single soldier raised a flag, and the Russian Defense Ministry announced the capture. And that soldier, I think, might have died from a FPV drone strike. The village is entirely abandoned. There's no Ukrainian forces over there, so the overrun is pretty fast. Fighting it. So Russian sources also claim that there's a frontline advance over at Vidradne, and they are claiming that the attack is moving towards Andriivka. However, the Ukrainians did launch drone strike here. So Russian presence, Russian capture, I think, is still valid, because that's how we do the mapping. And the fact that the Ukrainians are not there, the Russians were there, means it's captured. The Russians don't want to stay there, you cannot blame them. What the hell? Give me a second, let me see why is there a dong dong sound. Why is it a dong dong sound? I actually have no idea. I don't know what I do that caused the window to dong dong. So anyway, coming back to this. Oh, I know why. My arrow has spoiled. Wait. Yeah, so my annotation app actually broke down. So yeah, we have to redraw a bit. So the overrunning. So attack to Andriivka. So, and yeah, that's fighting is reported at Vishneve and Yehorivka as well. To suggest Ukraine has some positions around here is interesting. I mean, it's not impossible, because that's our mapping is showed as well. The Russians probably attack Otepitsky from the Danilivka direction. So from Yehorivka, maybe, I mean, the front line is pretty tight. So Ukrainians, however, actually attack Stepove, and they actually captured Russian soldiers, and they probably coming from the Veliko-Mikhailivka direction. Fighting is reported at Sosnivka, and this probably is the Ukrainians over in this sector here that is getting intercepted by the Russian forces, or the Russians trying to attack them with drones. There's a possibility. Russians definitely is at Stepove. The soldiers getting captured means that the Russian soldiers were defending the town, but I think they were caught by surprise. I think they never expected the Ukrainians would actually launch an infantry attack so far into the rear positions. So that is a possibility. So that's the current situation. This is the 4 operating bases for the Ukrainians. The Russians probably have it at Stepove. There's probably one, maybe Privilia. But these are all smaller ones, and this pose problems. To do extensions. Like to max out your influence is a bit difficult. So we shall see how this continue to play out. I think this is, of course, very macro view. You might not be able to see in details. Maybe when I'm free, I will do some battlefield analysis. Because now a lot of things happening. I'm actually, and also non-DPA work. I'm having some non-DPA work as well. That is taking up my time. So I wanted to do a SITREP for the Thai-Cambodian conflict, but I don't have the time. I'm already leafy, low battery. I'm just like my mouse, low battery. So yeah, so let's see how that goes. So over in the northern flank of the Dnipro Front, as well as the western flank of the Pokrov Front, fighting is reported at Zeleny High, Filia, Novopalivka, Yalta, Dashny, Novopihorodny, Molodetsky, Udashny, and Kotline. Generally, this is a static line over in the north here. The battle for Novopalivka has went dead. We do not know of anything. The Ukrainians continue to claim that they are at Zeleny High, which I think, yeah, maybe they are there. Yalta, Filia, Dashny. Maybe the Russians did not stay here. Maybe the Russians' 4 operating base is just not here, and the Ukrainians just returned to these positions with their cannon folders. I mean, that is entirely possible. So and this line here, probably the Ukrainians are actually attacking it, which is why we are getting all these reports of fighting. But whatever it is, yeah, it's a very vague front line. It's a static front line. Don't expect too much from this sector. We move on to the Pokrov front. So over in the rest of the Pokrov front, so wait, let me adjust. So fighting is moving towards Hievka. Kotliny, I already mentioned, fighting is reported at Khrushchevny, Pokrov. The Ukrainian mapping have conceded that they have lost the entire southern part. So they have actually went beyond the Russian claims and actually give up no claims in the south. However, the Russian mapping claimed more of MYRNOHRAD. Most of the northeastern part of MYRNOHRAD is all claimed to be taken by the Russian forces. So some massive, so the Ukrainian encirclement or salient is getting smaller and smaller. It's getting squeezed. Fighting is reported at Shevardin Liman, Rodinsky, Bilitsky, Ivanivka, Nikhanorivka, Vilny, Shakove, Sofievka, and Rusinya. This is part of the Konstantinivka front, and shelling is reported over in the position of Vodiansky. So a lot of arrows. So the main operation right now, of course, is the focus to destroy the Ukrainian encirclement over at MYRNOHRAD. That's of course expected. The flanking operation north of Pokrov MYRNOHRAD is still ongoing, and fighting at Khrushchevny, I think this is a static line. I don't expect too much from that. I also don't think that there is a push towards Serhievka. I think that is just some shelling over in Serhievka, because I believe this is a forward operating base. This is a major HQ for the Ukrainians. This is where they launch counterattacks into the Udashny line, right? We have just now we mentioned the fighting at Udashny, Kotliny. This is probably all coming from Serhievka, which is why I think it's getting some attention around there. So the Ukrainians also definitely have a cluster of places over here where they can operate from. Of course, they have the Propilia as well, and this is also why where the Ukrainians have strongholds, able to counterattack into these regions here. The Russians are trying to take Bilitsky. They are pushing for Bilitsky. I think they and also Vilny generally, and Ivanivka. All this push is generally moving into the Propilia direction. Tentatively, I think this is pretty static line. The Russians do not have a good idea how to push in unless they can build up a forward operating position that is much more closer, but getting too close is difficult. Let's say from Dobropilia moving to the front line is 10 to 15 kilometers. Between the 10 to 15 kilometers, I believe drones can still be operated between 10 to 15 kilometers. So it's but ideally it's within 10 kilometers, but I think 10 to 15 I think is still within range. So it's not easy. It's generally just not easy. So Russians are still going for the chain of settlements here. We're fighting at Shakove, Sofievka, makes sense. Rusinya is a static line, but generally this is the macro situation over in the Pokrov front. We move on to the next front line over in the Konstantinivka front. Anyway, there is a mention of Novokrivosia. Anyway, it's just far away town, not important at all. So over in the Konstantinivka front, Rusinya is mentioned just now. Fighting is reported at Stepanivka. Oh, I need to go up a bit because Stepanivka is mentioned. Stepanivka. Where's my arrows? Stepanivka, Plishevka, Ivanopilia, Alexandrovshutine, Konstantinivka, Chasivia. So strategically, I mean, one look you probably can tell already is pretty much more or less the same. This is a static line. I think the push toward Berestov isn't happening right now. I think they are not ready because they are unable to take full control of the situation at Plishevka. With the Ukrainians having Konstantinivka as the base, counterattack and supporting the positions around here is actually pretty easy for the Ukrainians. So so the Russians still have Plishevka. And if the town, if the village is entirely flattened, it's also very hard to convert it into some kind of a base, to operate from. So it's just difficult. Situation is just difficult. Ukrainians may still have some positions around Alexandro Shutine region, which is why they keep talking about it. But the Russians have a stronghold or a foothold in the southeastern part of Konstantinivka. So they are definitely putting pressure. Ukrainians may be counterattacking into this Alexandro Shutine direction. So yeah, it's pretty stalemate-ish at this moment in this sector here. I think Chasiv is a static line, so that's about it from this front line, the Konstantinivka front. We move it up north over to the Bakhmut front or the Siversk front. Let me see, I can feed in everything. So over the Siversk front, fighting is reported at Minkivka, Bondarne, Fedorivka, Prerezhne, Zvanivka, Siversk, Serbianka, Dronivka, Platonivka, Yampil. So that's the situation. It looks like a lot of arrows. The main push definitely is moving the flanking operation north of Siversk. Going for Zakine, the battle for Siversk is going very well for the Russians. Serbianka is just a war operation. They are just there to trap the Ukrainians. The battle for Yampil is still ongoing. I think the Ukrainians have been counter-attacking into Yampil from the Liman direction, causing a massive stalemate in the Yampil area. The Russians are attacking, trying to probably extending out. They may be doing this, maybe because the Ukrainians are counter-attacking very severely, causing the whole line to get stuck and have battles within this southern part of the Siversk front. The Russians may be pushing for Bondarne. I think it's a good idea. The main push is to go towards right Alexandrivka, which was reported to have airstrike. There is airstrike reported at right Alexandrivka, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. A push towards Minkivka, I don't think is a thing. The Russians always talk about Minkivka. Generally, Minkivka was a forward operating base long time ago. I'm not sure if they are still using that as one. So that is the significance of Minkivka. So tentatively, this is the strategic situation over in the Siversk front. We're going to go on further up north to the Oskil front. Over the Oskil front, there's nothing at Liman, by the way. This Liman is over here. So over in the Oskil front, this is Oskil. Yeah, my mouse battery is very low right now. I think it's going to die soon. So let's see who died first. The mouse died first or the report finished first. So anyway, fighting is reported over in Myrne, Stavki, Drobosheve. Geolocation of Russian forces pushing out from Starine in the Korovia direction or the Alexandrivka direction. Both is possible. So and then fighting is reported at Novomir, Khorekivka, and the Russian forces claimed a much bigger area in the west of Novovodyanny. Generally speaking, this is a static line. I think the straightening of the front line is interesting. If there's a major push or not, yeah, I think it's not very meaningful to push there. So that's why I'm not paying too much attention about that. The push from Serine is interesting. Generally, in the long-term view, they are going towards Oskil. So that's thing. Let me just plug in my mouse so that the notification can stop coming out. Razer did not pay me enough or anything to have his logo keep appearing. Anyway, fighting for Drobysheve continues. I think the Russians having trouble because Drobysheve is a Ukrainian HQ on its own, so they are not able to break in yet. But the idea is to go for Yarova and then go for Svetohorsk. They are also trying to take out the salient here, but I think the Ukrainians coming from Liman is causing difficulties for the Russians to take out the salient here. So let's see how this goes. Tentatively, this is the situation, the macro situation over in the Oskil front. Go up north to the Borova front. The fighting is only mentioned at Bohuslavka. I think this is nothing special. The Russian definitely wants Bohuslavka and then take out the salient. So that's about it. That's all from Borova. We go on to the Kupiansk front. Over the Kupiansk front, after yesterday's debacle, where the Ukrainians have taken a huge chunk of Kupiansk back and probably dispelled some of the Russian claims in the western part of Kupiansk. maybe, you know, all those are just, you know, flag raising stunts, and there is no real plans or operation to actually hold Kupiansk. And as a result, the Ukrainians have broke in again, and yeah, causing, I think, quite a bit of embarrassment. Fighting is reported at Petropavlivka, Podoli, Kupiansk, Vozlovi, Kisharivka, I don't even know where it come from, and Kulishkivka. There's a Ukrainian tank that was so-called destroyed southeast of Kurylivka. The Russian main operation right now is to focus on the two salients here, in the eastern part of the Oskil River, which is this river here. So the Russians' aim right now is to just take out these two salients. It looks like they are just going to abandon the rest of Kupiansk for now, which is bizarre. Especially, like I said, you know, Putin talked about Kupiansk so much, you know, about their success. And if there is actually no capture of Kupiansk, can you imagine that? But that shows you the limitation of being a leader of a big country, because the understanding of what is reality is only as good as the subordinates report. So if they lie to you, then you think that the lie is the real thing. Then you will just have bad information and act and talk about things via the bad information. So that is the current situation for that situation. I think that's horrible, but you know, that's reality. The people do want to, you know, put up fake reports or made up reports, you know, or made up operations, like, you know, they just raise one flag. Maybe they send the guy that they hate the most in the squad, and then you go bring the flag over that position just to take that video or photo, risking his life, and then maybe he's killed by FPV drones. But everybody else get a raise. They all get a bonus. So that's the situation. There's a geolocation of Russian forces of Kanyamka, confirming the Russians' continued presence in Kanyamka. Clearly, this is a forward operating position. From here, they can attack. Koloziasny. So yeah, so that's the main thing. But yeah, there's nothing else over in the Volhynia front. We go on to the Kharkiv front. So at the Kharkiv front, this is Kharkiv or Kharkiv. Fighting is reported at Veterinary, which is interesting. But I think this is just a skirmish. You know, this is just harassment. I don't think it's something serious. The main operation is still over in the Voschansk sector. In the Voschansk sector, the Russians are still doing the same operations. The battle for Vilsha is still continuing. Voschansk is not mentioned. Fighting is reported at Prelipka, Staritsia, and pushing towards Ibitske. So the Russians have very strong operating bases from here. Now that the Russians have Voschansk, they have previously they used Hatishe, they have Buruvakha, and they probably have the forest around here. So all these contributes to pretty good positions to launch attacks from. So I think the Russians is going to have success. Ukrainians have less ideal HQs. They probably have Ternova and other further positions. So the tide at this moment in this area should be with the Russians. But how hard are they pushing? I don't know, because this area is huge. I mean, just on this map, this is like a 20-25 kilometers width left to right. So, you know, this is a big place. We go on to the last front line, the Sumy front. And happy birthday to you if your birthday today. And press the like button, subscribe, check out all the other videos. I wish I can do more, but my energy is at its limits now. So yeah, if not, I would have done double the amount of videos. However, I have non-DPA business to do as well, because DPA alone just don't pay enough, unfortunately. So because the viewership is just too low. I thought that by now I would be able to replace my other business with just doing fully on DPA. Never happened, because DPA just can't. We just got suppressed and we all pushed down, or we just suck, you know. So unfortunately the viewership is just not high enough, not enough revenue, so I have to do other stuff, which yeah, it's a chicken and egg issue. The more I do other stuff, the less time I have for DPA, which means I can do less for DPA, which means it cannot grow as fast or grow more. So that is the current situation. Whatever it is, I'll just do my best. And you continue to support me, help to share, help to like. and then we see how it goes, you know. So I started to do the war footage thing, which this new series where I just compile the war footages, something I have thought about for a long time, but I've never done, or done very limitedly, very little. So now I decided to do more on it. So hopefully that will help to break new grounds. But for now, yeah, it is what it is. So over in the Sumy front, we have geolocation of Garand strikes. And this one is the Myropilia one. This is the CV-90 that was triple tapped by a Russian FPV drone. So this is the one I show in the war footages. The Russians shelled Ivozanske. They also attacked Andriivka, Iskriskenivka, as well as Rizivka. But generally, this front line is a static line. So all of this is just skirmishing, you know, just like all this shelling and Garand strikes. These are all operations just to grind away the enemy forces. The Ukrainians probably is doing the same thing, but with probably lesser resources. So until the rear positions is grinded enough, there won't be any major offensive. So because of the nature of the war right now, because of FPV drones and suicide drones, yeah, the drones just made it impossible to do proper rushes like World War II style. You just cannot. So anyway, that's all from the Sumy front, and that's about it. So this is the summary for the day of 1385 on the 9th of December. Thank you for watching. Like I said, press the like button, subscribe. And subscribe, like for real, subscribe. Subscription is the most important thing. Like, it's more important than likes. Is subscription right now for DPA algorithm is the number one. And for how well the video can spread is through click-through rate. So what is click-through rate? Means every time DPA's video is recommended to you on the homepage on the YouTube, every time you don't click it, the more YouTube don't want to share it to more people. So if the moment you see it and you click it immediately, ahead of any other videos, YouTube will think that, oh, this is an awesome video, despite you haven't even watched it. The YouTube algorithm is stupid. They will just think, wow, this is an awesome video. And then they will just push the video a lot more. It's the click-through rate. It's entirely insane. The algorithm has broken. It's totally broken right now. So, but yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next update.